Hi everybody, this is Ellie. Thanks so much for joining me today for a video where I share my thoughts on this new to me notebook company. I did originally film this as part of my October setup video, but it ended up being too long and not everybody might be interested in the specifics of the notebook itself. So if you are, I will try to share some of my thoughts here. This isn't a review, I've really just started using this, but I did want to share some of the qualities that I noticed and some of the features that I absolutely love. This is a Zequenz notebook, and I first heard of the brand on one of Siobhan's videos at Just Scribble, where she was comparing different B6 slim size notebooks. And then a little while ago on one of my Instagram posts, Christina at Mamachina commented and asked me if I had tried the Zequenz pocket size. I hadn't even known they had a pocket size, and I was really excited for a couple of reasons. First, there's not that many true sized thick pocket notebooks. So I've tried Moleskine. I'm currently in a Leuchtturm Pocket A6, which as we know isn't a true pocket size, by which I mean 3.5 by 5.5 inches. I've used Field Notes, which are great, but they're thin, and I've cut down my Hobonichi A6 plain notebook to pocket size, which also works great. But I was intrigued by having a notebook that was already bound, pocket size, and thick. The other thing that really intrigued me about this was the grid size. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. This is a brand from Thailand. It says that they're hand assembled in Thailand and the paper is sourced from sustainably farmed forests in Thailand. They have different sizes to choose from and different papers, and I chose the square grid, which is my all-time favorite. This notebook has a 4mm sized square grid, which is so wonderful. I love the smaller size. It just feels like so much more real estate. What it looked like to me when I was ordering the notebook is that if you chose the crisp white paper, which is what I have here, it comes with the 4x4mm boxes. And if you choose the cream colored grid paper, it comes with 5x5mm boxes. So that's something that you definitely want to be aware of when you're placing an order. I love having white paper again. The Leuchtturm is decidedly cream. So just to show you a comparison there, and see, even though this is actually a larger notebook, I do feel like I have more writing space here because this notebook has 16 across and 26 down. And this one has 19 across and 34 down, which means I can get an entire Calendex on one page, which is my preference. So this is called the 360 Classic Notebook, and the reason it is called that is because this notebook will fold all the way back on itself. This is a feature that, I don't know how much I'll personally use. I'll probably have this in a cover, so I don't actually tend to take it out and kind of write on the go, or even fold it like this on my desk, but it is good that it has that flexible spine. You can see that with that design, the spine is very curved. So that brings me to another detail, which is this notebook is 3.5 by 5.5, but the front and end pages don't measure the full 3.5 across because of the curve of the spine. So when I go right to the middle of the book, you can see it's exactly 3.5. If I go to the end, so this is the last page, and I try to even bend it down, it comes up short. You can see here, even when I numbered the boxes, I really tried to break this in so that I could get closer to the binding to write the numbers, but it doesn't want to lay flat there, and this part just kind of wants to sit close. So that's fine by me, but it is something to note. I've also gone ahead and numbered the boxes in the middle. So here I've got 19, There's technically a full square here, but it's unusable. And in the middle, I've gotten 20. And there is one column here that is technically usable, but I didn't count it because I wouldn't write that close to the binding anyways. So just something to note. The book comes with this little magnetic bookmark, the Ultimate Masterpiece Roll-Up Journal it's called. There's their website and the Classic 360. I will say here, I tried again to really kind of break this down because I wanted it to let me get closer to the edge. And what's happened here is that the paper has started peeling up. It's not coming loose at all. It says it's bound with non-toxic glue, I believe, and it still feels very sturdy. Even if I peel a little bit here, it's not going anywhere. That being said, I don't know how well that will wear and last. I will probably put a little piece of washi tape here just to kind of hope it doesn't get any worse, but I wanted to leave it to show you guys. As for the paper itself, they have different thicknesses of paper depending on what you're ordering. This notebook, the paper is 70 GSM. It feels smooth and nice to me, and I've done some pen tests, so I will flip to that page. I think I read in the Amazon description that it said it was fountain pen friendly, but I have one fountain pen that I tried and it definitely was not fountain pen friendly. So I'll go ahead and show you here. This might have been easier to do on screen with you, so I'll keep that in mind for next time. But I tested some of my Tombow dual brush pens and those were okay. The darker one, you can obviously see more shadowing. These are my favorite fine liners, the Le Pen Technical Drawing Pens, so 0.3, 0.1, 0.05, 0.03. What I've found is that there's a little bit of bleeding at the point where your pen stops, so kind of where the ink pools when you're pulling it off the paper. It's not enough to bother me or stop me from using those, especially since I use them infrequently, mostly as headers, but it does definitely have teeny little hints of bleed through. That goes for the Staedtler fine liner I used, the Micron PN as well. So this is the Micron, this is the Staedtler. And these other ones I'm going to show you, the gel pens and my Jetstream, are okay. So the Energel Clena, the Unisigno 0.5 and 0.38, and the Zebra Sarasa and Pentel Energel, all fine. Again, there are hints that it could bleed through at that kind of point where I mentioned, where you lift your pen off the paper. So if you're looking for paper that won't have any bleed through, then this might not be the paper for you. And like I mentioned, I have one fountain pen. It's the TWSBI Eco. I have the extra fine nib, and I tried that at the bottom here, and there was some feathering and also quite a bit of bleed through. So this is the level of bleed through that doesn't work for me. These are some highlighters. I have the Stipulo Swing Cool and the mild liners. Those are all fine, again, except for at the end where the ink pools. This is where I would use that highlighter trick that I've talked about before. So you just put a Post-it down and kind of run it right up onto the page. That way it gives you the clean edge and it also doesn't leave the pool. I hope that gives you an idea of what pens work. I'm probably primarily going to use my Jetstream, so a ballpoint pen, and my Uniball Signo in the 0.38, which is a gel pen. I will see how it goes and just adjust. I know the Jetstream's fine. That Jetstream is so tried and true, and I believe this will be fine as well. I know I love the pen. I don't think bleed through will be much of a problem, but it's possible. The other thing is I'm really heavy-handed, and when I'm writing something intentionally to have it be neater and kind of slow down, I press even harder. When I was doing some of these faster scribbles in the back, there wasn't that kind of hint of bleed through. But that being said, I do think bleed through could be a factor. The notebook itself does not come numbered. It says there's 256 pages, and I numbered up until 249, but I left a couple blank here. I glued this one down, and I didn't number my index. The cover is kind of this faux leather cover, and the end pages inside are smooth. I think if I were to stamp on them or write on them, it would need a ton of dry time, so I just avoided doing that. On the website itself, I believe this is listed as an A6 minus. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how it looks. They have an A6 and then an A6 minus, which is 3.5 by 5.5 inches. I got mine on Amazon.com. I'm Canadian, so usually I shop on Amazon.ca, but it was listed for a ridiculous price, like $50+ for this notebook here. So when I went on Amazon.com, I found it really reasonable, even with the shipping and duties that I paid. So for any of my Canadian friends that are thinking of it, hopefully it becomes more widely available here. I did get a couple of them, so here's one that is still in its packaging. Sorry about the glare. Here it says flexible, comfort, durable, and perfect binding. And I also got a B6 size for my morning pages, so same exact style. If you do have any questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer them, but like I said, this is my first time with this company, and I'm looking forward to it. I love the feel of it in my hands. I love that it's bendable and flexible, and that it lays perfectly flat. The grid size and the paper color are probably my two favorite features. Oh, and for the grid itself, it's a really nice light gray color. It reminds me of the Traveler's Company inserts. It's there, you can see it for sure, but I find that it definitely fades into the background once I'm writing. So I'm really, really happy about that. I guess here you can see some of the actual spreads I've made and some shadowing. You can see here I was writing my goals, taking my time. This was with this Unisigno here. And you can see little hints of that bleed through. So we'll see. I'm okay to play around with it. It won't bother me as long as I can use some of the pens that I have and love. I'm good to go. I'll link to this on Amazon and to their website if you want to check it out, and I'll keep you updated with how I like it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.